Hello everyone, it's Clara and I'm back with another board game. So today is a board game that has been really difficult for me to get hold of in the UK since it came out. So I'm glad to say that the search for Planet X has finally come to an end. This is a game where it's a puzzle deduction game, so you get information, you take actions to get more information, and you're competing for your friends to find Planet X, this mystery Planet X. It's a really cool game. It makes excellent use of an app to alter the difficulty between different players as well as change the results each time. And yeah, I really enjoy it, but I'll tell you why I enjoy it and sort of give you an overview of how it works when we get back to the table. So yeah, like I say, the search for Planet X. So anyone that's seen my top 10 board games on the Dice Tower, one of those games was Alchemist. So Alchemist is a game that's been out for a number of years, and I absolutely adore that game. It's a fantastic wizardy theme, and you trying to figure out, you know, what elements relate to what components. It's a really cool deduction game. The problem with that game is that it's quite a lot to put up, take down. The teach is super long, and it's not a short game either. It's like a 2-hour game. Now, I love it, but it just doesn't hit the table. When I saw the search for Planet X, my first thoughts were, this seems like a really simple, streamlined game that I can teach, and it's, you know, version of Alchemist. It's got that same sort of puzzle aspect to it. And having played it, I'm going to say it is. There's no two ways about it. This is a game that I got recently, and I've already been able to teach a whole bunch of, play it a whole bunch of times. And the teach is pretty easy. There's not, it's not too much difficulty in the teach. I love that. That's really good. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd rather play Alchemists, but I know that I'm going to play this game 10 times for every single play of Alchemist. It's just, like I say, the way it is because of how complex Alchemist is. So I think this is a game that's going to stick in my collection for a long time, and I don't really have any interest in getting rid of it. So let's talk about what you're actually doing. So in this game, you are controlling an observatory. Each of you and your friends are controlling observatories, and you look out into the night sky, and depending on what time of day it is, you can see different sectors of the night sky, which is super thematic, and I really enjoy that. And of course, as time progresses, the day moves on, so you can see different areas of the sky. And so you can spend time to try and figure out, okay, what's in this sector, or where are all the asteroids? It's really cool. So you might do a big scan, which doesn't take very much time, and you might find that there's 2 asteroids in this particular area of space. But, does that help you narrow down where Planet X is? Because what's interesting about this game is that Planet X is invisible. You can't see it, you can't observe it. Now, there are empty sectors of space which might be Planet X, but you don't actually know. So you've got to do a lot to try and really whittle down and figure out where it is. And of course, how you go about that depends, is going to, what you look for and how you do it. You've got to balance like the amount of time that you're using looking at these different sectors of the sky, and balance that against the amount of information you're getting and whether it adds anything to the table. So it's a really cool game in that regard. Now, I'm a scientist, and so I love the idea that, you've got this fairly sensible, premise of scientists in observatories looking at the night sky and trying to figure out what's there. I think that's kind of cool. Also, there's a conference or 2 conferences during the game. And on top of that, when you've got ideas about where things are, you can publish papers, and at some point they'll hit peer review. It's got all the nerdy scientific stuff going on there, so that's really cool. The actual puzzle itself, like I say, is really good fun, and what adds to it is that it's not just finding out where Planet X is, but you've also got to know what's on either side of it, because otherwise you could just guess, right? You could just go, well, it's in sector 1. But no, on this game, you've got to know what's on either side of Planet X as well in order to be successful. So that's a really cool mechanic, and I like the way that it takes away that just pure guessing luck thing. Don't get me wrong, it might be my friend raced to try and guess before me, and they had to guess what one of the sectors were, and they got lucky. But they already had a lot of information to whittle that down, so it was an educated guess. So that's really cool. Now, like I say, it makes heavy use of an app as well. So each player logs in with an app, and this randomizes where all the different aspects of the comets, the asteroids, empty space, and Planet X are each game. So you don't need a games master as such. It works really well. The app is nice, simple to use. It also has a mode for solo play, which I've not really used yet. And so, yeah, the app is great. Now, what is wonderful about this app is that each player can use it individually, and so and you can set the difficulty depending on the different players, so it doesn't have to be all the same difficulty for everyone. So it might be that one player who's very experienced gets less information at the start of the game and has to figure out more, whilst a new player can get a lot more information to start with, and so that'll make it a lot easier for them to figure out where Planet X is. That's really cool. I don't see that enough. Why don't people do this? It's awesome. Now, I realise that it's not always that easy to implement, but I love the fact that they've done it in this game, and they have. And not only that, there's another way of cranking the difficulty, because in the base game, you've got 12 segments of the night sky and a certain amount of dwarf planets, but if you flip the board over, it's got 18 segments and there's more dwarf planets, and so there's 2 different ways of changing the difficulty, which makes it really scalable, I think, and I'd say replayable. I've not started using that extra the other side yet. Still, you know, I've played it a number of times, but I still feel like I'm trying to get to grips with the game. But yeah, it's there, and I know I can use it, which is awesome. That's really cool. And so the app integration is brilliant. I know that some people don't like apps with their games, but I think they're brilliant. I know Alchemist, which I mentioned earlier, was one of the first games to use them, and it just did it so darn well. I love it. And what else? So yeah, you're looking for the planets, you've got the app, you've got the scalability. It's just a really cool game. It looks real pretty, it's quick to set up, it's quick to take down. And it's easy to teach. I mean, there's not too much to teach to players. It is a really quick, you know, I've basically covered most of the basic stuff. You've got to spend a little bit more time explaining what those things do. So what a wonderful game. The Search for Planet X. It's, like I say, it's a really good deduction game. I love the theming of it. The look is beautiful. The app just adds the fact that it's scalable for different players, and generally, what a winner for me. So that is The Search for Planet X. If you like your puzzle deduction games, go and get it. It's brilliant. And thanks so much for watching. Hopefully like, subscribe, and until next time, take care and bye bye.